It's said that money can't buy happiness. Well, it can't buy podcast listeners either. Not according to the data generated from a Facebook ad experiment I funded for 76 days and have just terminated. Hello and welcome to another Podcast Pontifications with me, Evo Terra. Over the last 2.5 months, let's say, I spent $360 in media to prove something I already knew. Facebook ads are not a great choice to grow the audience of a podcast. More specifically than that, running an ad campaign on Facebook is prohibitively expensive. It's a prohibitively expensive way to generate and acquire a measurable increased number of listeners to your podcast. And again, I knew this to be the case. Yet I still contracted with a firm that specializes in running Facebook advertising campaigns to grow podcast audiences dramatically. I did that. I have them run the experiment to take my negativity out of the mix because, hey, maybe I'm wrong about this. Spoiler, I was not wrong. But a quick programming note. This is the final episode of 2021. My long winter's nap commences right after this and will end on January the 4th, 2022. So if you're brand new, welcome. I got 500 episodes in the can for you to ponder while I take my little break here, so please stay subscribed or stay followed, whatever we're calling it these days. Whatever. Cool? Cool. All right, back to the money. Now that $360 I spent on targeted Facebook ads brought me to my show 500 clicks. Great. But that's 500 clicks, not listeners. It is very easy to buy clicks. And at less than $1 a click, they seem like they might actually be inexpensive. But clicks by themselves, like monthly downloads by themselves, is kind of a worthless number. It's useless. I mean, the real question is, did those 500 clickers become 500 listeners? Okay, maybe not 500. What about 400 listeners then? Let's take it down a notch. Let's go half. 250? Well, in a word, no. In 4 words, no, of course not. Nor would I expect them to. And nor should you. And nor should the person running your advertising campaign. And here's why. Now remember, I have spent for the better part of 2 decades running digital advertising companies. So I know that most people who click on an ad will not actually convert. And of course, in my case, converting means actually becoming a listener of the program. So what percentage of clickers will convert? Well, historically and across the broad range of advertising, we typically project somewhere between 0.2% and 2% for a conversion rate. That's it. 2% at the most. 2 out of 100. Now, 2% of those, again, that's the high end, 2% of the 500 clicks I had would be 10. Okay, fine. Maybe the ad campaign got me 10 new listeners. If I look at, and I have looked at, my average 7 and 28 day per episode download numbers, then sure, I think I can probably see it got me maybe 10 more listeners, or at least 10 more listeners are inside of that growth. But that 10 more listeners cost me $360 in media dollars to acquire. That's a really expensive acquisition cost. Especially considering the fact that I'm not selling a product on my podcast to you, my listeners. So, after 76 days of spending, when there were no indications whatsoever that the campaign would do anything more unless I threw more money at it, I pulled the plug. I was pretty confident at the time, and still am, that I had enough data to say that, no, of course it didn't work, as I anticipated. Now, I could wax poetically for as long as you really want about why this plan failed to work, and, in my considered opinion, will always fail to work. I could slice and dice the numbers. I could analyze the efficacy of the messaging that was used. We could extrapolate on the disconnect between clicking to a website and subscribing/following a podcast, or even remind you that of the lack of attribution tracking we get from podcast listening apps that makes it vastly different than other sorts of digital advertising. And yes, all of those issues are very, very real. And all of them played a part contributing to why campaigns like this, and this one specifically, failed. But let's go back to the beginning, where I said that I spent this money to prove something I already knew. That's true, but it's only part of the truth. I did it so that I could demonstrate to you, the serious podcaster, that it would not work. And quite frankly, given the current state of podcasting, where we live today with the technologies that work to make podcasting work, this kind of advertising campaign can't work. Clicks on ad campaigns do not matter if those clicks fail to convert people to being listeners. And at best, 98% of the clicks you pay for will not convert someone to becoming a listener of your show. So my advice, don't waste your money on this. Now, for those data nerds out there, I am publishing, and have linked in the episode details, a link to the Google sheet that has all of these numbers on it. Feel free to examine the results at your leisure, go as deep as you want to. I've got tabs showing the 7-day and 28-day per episode downloads that I get from my hosting company, Captivate. I've got the Facebook campaign data, and I've got a few fancy charts to show you what I'm not seeing in these lackluster results. Now, also with that, this is the end of this half season of podcast pontifications. It is now coming to a close. For the next few weeks, I'll be taking what I call my long winter's nap. My plan is to emerge with all new content just after the new year, I think on January 4th, 2022, right now. But during that time, over these next few weeks, I will still be quite active, mostly on Twitter, sometimes also in the Advancing Podcasting community. Are you a part of that? advancingpodcasting.xyz. Please chime in. That's a Discord server that is set up just for serious podcasters. Please join us over there. So that's it. I shall be back on January 4, 2022 with yet another podcast, Pontifications. Cheers.